Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of For What It's Nerd 2024. I hope you guys are doing well. We're back for season 3. It's exciting. I didn't ever think we would get to season 3. I didn't even acknowledge the fact we were at season 3 until earlier today, and it's kind of crazy. But thank you to everyone who's come along so far, and I'm very excited to see what we get into this year. This year looks like it's going to be exciting for a lot of reasons, as regards just geek things in general, nerd things in general, both Star Wars, Marvel, DC, etc. Other things as well. You know, as we always do, we try and mix in just general what's good, what's on, what's happening at the cinema, and you know, in film and all that type of stuff generally as well. So as you know, trying as always to give a wider view on a lot of different shows and movies, etc. that is going on, as well as, you know, sometimes board games and all that type of stuff. So always looking to do new things, looking to try new things, and I hope that this year brings that, especially in a way that is interesting for you guys. So with all of that said, let's move on to the main topic of today's video, today's episode, which is that we are going to discuss Echo. There's a few things to discuss around Echo. Now, Echo hasn't released yet. It is releasing on the 9th or 10th, depending on where you are in the world, and it will be on Disney Plus and Hulu. Again, depending on where you are in the world. And the show is 5 episodes long. It's all going to drop on one day, so we will be discussing all of that. Maybe even, I might even do a special episode of the show on the night of, if I have the time, just to kind of get a reaction out there, because I don't want to... It's different when you've got one episode of a show and you can kind of discuss it separately, right? But when you've got the whole show released, it feels like maybe we should try and, you know, get on that. So that might happen this week, so keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to promise it because it might change, and we might have it just as the normal episode on the weekend, but we'll see. We'll see about that. But with all that said, let's talk about Echo in actuality now. First off, let's discuss the biggest thing probably coming out of Echo right now, which is that it has canonized, or at least some of the promotional material at least, has canonized the Daredevil Netflix show. Now, a lot of people already had beliefs that this was canonized. Some people still believe it's not canonized. I am a little bit in between, but I do think the case for it being canonized is higher now, and I feel like I'm saying canonized a lot. But anyway, that's the point. That's beyond the point. What has happened is when there was a bit of promotion came out for Echo surrounding Kingpin, and what was really interesting is that they use a lot of the clips and like backstory elements from the Kingpin like moments in Daredevil to really underpin, alongside Hawkeye and of course parts from Echo as well, to underpin Kingpin's kind of threat to Maya during these 5 episodes. And you know, the fact that they've used that in the marketing tells us a lot about what's going through the minds of the team on this project, right? Because they're at least, and I believe this has been said in an interview as well, they're at least treating it as canon for this show, which is important, right? Like, this is not saying it's necessarily canon, and Kevin Feige could still turn around and say, hey, that might look like it's canon, it's not. And you know, that could still happen. That's why I'm kind of tentative about saying, it's canon, but like, it looks that way, and it very much feels that way, and I'm glad about it, because I think that the Netflix Marvel shows were really, really not forward thinking, maybe that's a bit too extreme for it, but really, really progressive for the Marvel brand at the time. I really remember, and this is one thing that I do really remember, is that I got Netflix to watch Daredevil and then Jessica Jones. Like, that was how I got into, like, at the time I wasn't really a person who watched a lot, and I was getting into Marvel at the time. Obviously I was a lot younger then. Daredevil started coming out, I believe, 2015, you know, so that's 9 years ago now. So it's a long time ago. And so it was something that I got really invested in through that. So, you know, Daredevil was a big part of the campaign at the time, I remember, for Netflix, and Jessica Jones as well. And it was like a really big moment for the Marvel Universe, I believe, because that show was really, really good. You know, we can discuss later seasons, and we can discuss Iron Fist and Luke Cage and say maybe they're not as great, but that first season and definitely the third season of Daredevil were some really great pieces of Marvel media, especially for Kingpin, which of course is the reason why this has been so integral to this Echo promotion. And so yeah, I'm very excited to see how that plays out. I'm very excited to see if we have things that are kind of referenced from that. There's also been a kind of insinuation that this might start tying into other street level stuff going on, and with that, I feel like you're basically hinting at some of those other characters coming back. I'm really hoping to see Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones again. I think she did an amazing job as Jessica, and I'd really like to see Jessica return. So that's, I know she really loves the character as well, so that's something that I would really like to see. But I'm not holding my hopes just yet, because you never know how this might go, but it does feel like Echo might just be switching things around for the MCU in a way that maybe people didn't expect for, you know, the past however long it's been in development. With all that said, what I think is even more interesting and better about this is the representation that is coming out of Echo. There is a special, again, promotional surrounding Echo that came out as regards the Native American elements of the story, and they are taking Echo in a different direction with this, but within the kind of keeping true to the character, but also keeping true to, I think it's Choctaw. I think that's right, isn't it? Yes, yeah, Choctaw customs and kind of authenticity, and they liaised with Native American peoples, and had the outfits made in that kind of authentic style and all that type of stuff. So it's really that they've really gone in and honed in on, let's make this an authentic Native American experience as regards the episodes that will deal with Maya's background, Maya's ancestral roots, which I just think is really, really exciting, and really, really it takes the Marvel Universe in a new direction. I know that sounds a little bit weird to say, because you think, well, does it? I think it does, because when you have magic, right? You have magic, and you have, yes, you have, you know, space and sci-fi and all that type of stuff. But is there that much room for like faith or like spirituality in Marvel currently as like a topic to explore? No, not really. And it's weird, because a lot of people were saying this about Moon Knight. I think this is one of the things that Daredevil, funnily going back, did really well, was just like kind of having a discussion about spirituality, morality, and that type of stuff. I think, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I want my Marvel content to be issuing, you know, discussing all these different how, like, I don't want Marvel to be telling me how to live my life, and I don't want the imposition of religion in that sense, right? But I think, you know, religion as a mode, or not even necessarily religion, but spirituality or all that type of stuff, as a mode to discuss different viewpoints and different again, moralities and different things that are going on, is an important part of the world that we live in. I think it'll be nice to see that represented in Marvel to a greater degree than it has done in the past, aside from Daredevil. You know, Moon Knight was one that kind of a lot of people were saying, you know, Moon Knight being Jewish is inherent to his character, and it wasn't really explored in any great way during Moon Knight season 1. But don't get me wrong, I think Moon Knight was trailblazing in other areas. I think a lot of these shows have been doing a lot of different things for the genre of superhero, and not even just that, but the genre, the film industry and the TV industry. But yeah, I think I'm really excited to see how that pans out as regards seeing the ancestral side, because I think there's something very special about, I find it very interesting whenever you see, because this obviously comes at the same time as Kahori showing up in What If, and as well they also released a character into, I know this is a mobile game, but it's still sort of very interesting to see, is that they released a character, a Native American character into Marvel Strike Force as well, Spider Weaver, which was an original character. And it's really nice to see these original characters coming through from this Native American background. Like, don't get me wrong, we do have obviously other Native American characters within the Marvel verse, but it's really nice to see them starting to get a little bit more recognition and get a little bit more of a chance in the modern stream of Marvel, the mainstream of Marvel, should I say. And also just, I think, again, going back to it, I think that that kind of ancestral spirituality stuff is really deep and really interesting and really intriguing and rich to pull upon for a story. It's very hero's journey. It's very exciting in that way. You know, I think it's going to really lend into the story, hopefully, in a way that's, you know, especially because if you think about it, Maya is connecting with her ancestry, and then you look at Kingpin and Fisk, and it's about family, this show, to me, I feel already, because Kingpin is a character who has isolated himself over a number of years to make himself impervious to being taken down. And then the times that he has kind of fallen short of that in one way or another has caused his downfall, i.e. Vanessa, i.e. Maya, i.e. His rage, his mother, you know, all these different moments where Kingpin is this calculating individual until he hopelessly finds himself in like, not in love necessarily, but in like a caregiver, caring moment. And so I think that's going to be really interesting to see play out again in this new way with the kind of father dynamic for Kingpin here, of Maya, the sort of uncle, father, role model type thing. So that's going to be very interesting to see play out. With all that said, one thing that I was in this special for showing the Choctaw influence on Echo is that the episodes will also be dubbed in the language. I forget the name of the language right now. Oh gosh, no. I had it. I did loads of research before this, and it's gone off the tip of my. But it will be done in one of the dialects, the languages of the Native American peoples, which I think is great as well. It's really nice to have something where you can listen to it and hear it in your tongue, and know that that'll be. Despite, you know, let's not talk about physical media necessarily right now, because more things should be physical media. Let's leave that one to the side for now. But it's nice to know that that will be there to persist. You know, and you work in language that otherwise might not have seen that, you know, so that's really interesting and really exciting as well. And yeah, I think I don't have too much more to say about Echo currently, because I don't want to over egg, considering it's only a few days away until we get into the main bulk of it. But I am very excited about the show. I think it's going to be very interesting. I know a lot of people are excited for this for Daredevil, and I do want to say as well, please don't get your hopes up that Daredevil is like some amazing part of this show, and like not saying that he won't be interesting within it, but please just be aware that Daredevil is not going to be the entire show. Please don't think that this show is lesser for having Daredevil in for one episode or two or whatever it ends up being. And please just give this show a chance, because it kind of deserves it. And I think if this show goes well, we might see a whole new spanning part of the Marvel Universe very soon. So with that said, guys, thank you once again. Welcome to season 3. Welcome to 2024. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye, guys.